Good morning and welcome to our 194th weekly webcast. Now, if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. And so the way this call works is this is an AMA, meaning ask me anything. You can ask me investing questions, business questions, how does finance and accounting work, etc., or personal questions or career development questions. And I'm here to humbly help you with any questions you have. I answer the questions in the order, pardon me, in which I received them. And what I'll do is after I answer questions here over YouTube Live, type your questions. Then what we'll do is we'll move on to Zoom and we can all have a big Zoom discussion. You can ask questions via Zoom or we can just bond and have fun that way. All right, great. Look at my hair, man. I got to get a haircut. I don't think it's ever been this long. I'll get it cut this Saturday. All right, let me get to your questions. All right, the first one I've got here is from Renveer, who wrote, "Hi, Chris, how are you? I'm always great, and I hope you're doing well as well." And then he wrote, "I was wondering, how do prop trading firms make money? What do they focus on?" Yeah, great question. So prop trading means proprietary trading. And every large investment bank, including Goldman Sachs, UBS, Credit Suisse, etc., they all have trading floors. And on their trading floors, they have about 10 people that are focused on proprietary trading, meaning they trade the firm's capital, okay? And there's traders that cover the oil sector, the commodity sector, ex-oil. You also have emerging markets. You've got telecom, internet, software companies, industrials, retail, healthcare, financials, etc. And what they do is they only focus on one sector. In terms of the news that they get the news mainly from Bloomberg. And Bloomberg, it's a software terminal, or you can download the software product, and it's basically a news aggregator. I used to spend $1,000 a month, every single month, for my analysts at my hedge fund to use Bloomberg, and then I cut it off completely. Because everything you get on Bloomberg, including all financial quotes and news, you can get on finance.yahoo.com for free. Okay, great. In terms of how do they make money, well, they get access to news pretty quickly because they focus on one sector and they have all the news flows coming directly through Bloomberg. And what they also do is they're a little bit technical focused as well. Most of them don't make money, but most of them, they try to make money by looking at technical analysis, meaning if stocks are overbought or oversold. Now, you can always go to my YouTube channel and do a search for technical analysis. I've done tons of vlogs on that in the past. Okay. Let me move on to the next question. Rolf from Sweden, how are you? First time I've seen you on the call. I'd love to see you again. Thank you for joining us. You wrote, "Thank you very much for making these sessions." My pleasure, and thanks for being here. Next up, Kevin, who's in my MBA program, wrote, "Good morning from Lakeland, Florida. Great to see you." Amr wrote, "Good morning, sir. Please call me Chris." Thank you. Neetu said, "Good evening from India." Thank you. 11% of my students are actually from India now. All right, and then I've got a question here from Mosny, who wrote, "Hi, Chris. Mosny from Singapore. Welcome. A question. Is gold a good investment?" Yeah. So gold tends to do well historically during economic crisis. And basically, if you go back to 2008, when I ran my hedge fund, then my biggest long position was ticker GLD. That's an ETF for gold. The fees are quite low, around 0.5% per year. So rather than going out and buying physical gold from a store, and you might not know if it's real gold or not, you can just buy the liquid ETF, which is ticker GLD. Again, gold tends to do well when the economy is not doing well, most of the time. Okay. All right. Next up, Pulasti wrote, "Hey, Chris, how are you? I'm always great. Thanks. Hope you're doing well. I have a question. Why doesn't Ether have a supply limit? Because Ethereum is a platform." Yeah, and my best investment ideas have always been platforms. If you own the road and you charge the cars, you can do really well. LinkedIn is a platform, Facebook's a platform, etc. Ethereum is also a platform because most initial cryptocurrency offerings, like an IPO, but for cryptos, an ICO, most offerings are done on the Ethereum platform. And most NFTs are also made on the Ethereum platform. The problem is there is no limit to the number of Ether that you can mine. Now, I've owned Ethereum for years. I've publicly disclosed which cryptos I've owned for years, which I'm never selling, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Ripple. The problem with Ethereum is, yeah, there's no limit. That's the problem with it, yeah. But it is a platform, which is why I think it's a good investment, yeah. Okay. And the reason why lots of cryptocurrencies exist is because there are limits with respect to older crypto. So Bitcoin, which is the first prominent crypto created in January 2009, Bitcoin is very slow compared to other cryptocurrencies. And that's why a lot of new ones are created. I still haven't found the Google of cryptos. I thought it was Ethereum, but the supply limit actually made me not believe that's the Google of cryptos anymore. But I am still looking for it. If anybody has ideas about what the Google, so to speak, of cryptocurrencies might be, please share it here in the chat. And my marketing team wanted me to ask to please like and subscribe. It helps my channel a lot. I've been doing this for 194 weeks in a row, and I'm going to keep doing it, but please click the like button. It'll help us. Thanks. And I'm trying to improve my YouTube channel. There's a guy who wrote a book with Mr. Beast named Daryl Eves, really smart guy. And so I talked to Daryl. I'm taking his course as well to help improve my YouTube channel. And I've never actually made YouTube content. That's my alarm. Sorry. I've never made YouTube content in the past couple of years for the sake of getting views. But we're starting to change that right now. I'm doing a series that you guys will be seeing soon called Wall Street Pro, humbly, reacts to movies and TV shows like Billions. And that first one will come out next week. I hope you enjoy the new content. And we're trying to create longer videos that add a tremendous amount of value for you. And as I learn more about how to grow my YouTube channel, based on my many failures, of which there's many, I'll share the greatest hits with all of you so you can learn from my mistakes. Okay. All right, next up, Rubina, who is from Pakistan but lives now in the United Kingdom, said, good afternoon. Great to see you. Great to see you. Moving on to Amr, who's asking, what do I need to study to work in dealing room in a bank? Yeah. I'm not sure what you mean by dealing room. Please clarify that. If it's settlements you're talking about, trade settlements, they usually teach you in-house everything, but you can always take my complete financial analyst course to learn more about that. Yeah, but please clarify the question so I can humbly help. Thank you. All right, moving on to Manas from India. Manas, always great to see you. Manas has a lot of great courses on Udemy as well. He wrote, good morning, my dear mentor. Chris, please. How is your ear doing? Hope all is well. A lot to ask this week, so let's begin. Thank you. Yeah, my ear's a lot better. What happened was I had to go to the emergency room about a week ago because I put these earplugs in that got stuck to my eardrum. But I was happy it happened, though, because they used a vacuum to take everything out, and now I can hear much better. Yeah, thank you. All right, next up, we got Pat, who wrote, my broker charges currency handling fees for balances of greater than 50,000 euro. Is there anything safe where I can park that money and sell whatever is needed, or wire funds 50,000 when needed? Thank you. Yeah, so a lot of big companies, what they do is on their balance sheet, you'll see they have cash and short-term investments. The reason why it's classified as short-term investments is because if they just leave their money in the bank, they don't make very much money on that because interest rates are relatively low. So what they do instead is they invest in short-term treasuries or commercial paper, which is like short-term debt, which has a higher interest rate than just keeping money in the bank. So you can look into buying treasuries if you want to. Earlier this year, I did a series on buying treasuries from the U.S. government. I can talk about that right now if you want to. I think everybody in the United States should buy U.S. treasuries. You can buy up to $10,000 worth, and you're guaranteed to make 10% per year. For more details, go to treasurydirect.gov. That's treasurydirect.gov. I can go there if you want me to. All right. And Orca, my goodness, thank you for that $20 donation. I really appreciate it. God bless you. That will go directly to Project Magoo. You can go to Project Magoo, that's magu.org, projectmagoo.org, for more details. We're just about finished our first school we're building overseas in Rwanda with one of my students named Vital. God bless you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. Next up, Pelosi is asking, Chris, what is the difference between stock, Forex, and binary trading? Yeah, I'm not familiar with binary trading since it's 1 or 0 binary. That probably has to do with technical analysis. Yeah, but technical analysis is similar for all asset classes. You look for the relative strength index as well as moving averages. or channels. And again, just go to my YouTube channel and do a search on technical analysis for more details. I've done a lot of videos on that over the years. Moving on to Yori from South Africa. Great to see you. Great to see you. I hope you and your daughter are doing well. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you on Zoom. Now, if you want to join Zoom, what you can do, and I'll open up Zoom very soon. All you do is you go to harounmba.com/Zoom. Okay? We say Z in Canada. ZOOM. So harounmba.com/ all lowercase Zoom. And you'll see instructions on how to click and join. I don't ask for emails or anything like that. You can just join. So I'll open up, actually, let me open up Zoom right now. And then what I'll do is I'll take more questions here. All right, so I'm going to go to Zoom. And then I'll click here. And I'll open it up so people can join. Okay, great. So that's connecting right now. Let me get back to your questions. Thank you. Okay. Cool beans. All right, next question I have got here. And Greg, thank you so much for donating 20 New Zealand dollars. Really appreciate it. God bless you. Again, that will go directly to projectmagoo.org. God bless you, and thank you for helping. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. And oh, do I love the icon. It says victory. I love it. That reminds me of Johnny Drama from Entourage. I don't know if anybody gets that reference because I'm old. All right, thank you for that. All right, moving on to Rita, who wrote, I love your new hair. It makes you look too young. Please keep it up. Okay, maybe I will. Thank you. It's different from me. My dad, he's from Egypt. He's got really curly hair. And for me, when I let it grow, just let my hair grow, it turns curly. I miss you, Dad. I love you, Dad, if you're watching. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, moving on to Nitu, who wrote, I'm a graduate in finance and accounts. I want to work in a big company like JP Morgan and Accenture. I used to work there too, Accenture. Great company. And then you wrote, what should I do or what skills do I need to get my dream job? Yeah. So what you need to do is network aggressively, which I teach about in my courses, my other programs as well. And if you want, instead of buying my courses, just go online to my YouTube channel and do a search on networking. Okay, and I'm really proud of a video I published a couple days ago on networking that Matt Lacousse, my great chief creative officer, edited. It was from a couple days ago. Let me show you the link real quick here, and then we'll move on, I promise you, okay? All right, but Matt poured his heart into this, and this is the type of editing we're going to be having going forward for my YouTube videos as we try to take it to the next level. Again, I'm being trained by the guy that has been advising Mr. Beast. Okay, so I'm going to go to YouTube Studio and I'll show you exactly where to access this video. It's kind of a bizarre one here, and we're trying also to do vertical ones as well. So it's here. It's called Best Dating Advice Ever. It's a little out there, a little different for me, but check it out if you want to. Otherwise, what you can do is just do a search on networking on my YouTube channel as well. I've done tons of videos on that to help you. Okay. Now, what I'm doing this week is something a little bit different. One person on this call is going to win a 3-hour one-on-one meeting with me, and you can spread it out in 20-minute increments or do it all at once. And during this 3-hour meeting, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change and fix your entire LinkedIn profile for you. And I'll also give you confidential advice on any career stuff or business stuff you want. So stay on this call because later on I'm going to announce who the winner is. And it's going to be somebody that asked a question. Okay, great. All right. And Liz, thank you so much for that $5 donation as well. God bless you. I love the keep it up emoji as well with the weights. Thank you. Again, that will go to Project Magoo. God bless you and thank you. Thank you so much. I love my students. Okay, moving on to Liz, who wrote, hi, I'm in your options course. Thank you. Then you wrote, hedge funds using artificial intelligence software. And this is how they get better ROI, ? Yeah. Hedge funds, there are some hedge funds that actually use very sophisticated algorithms in order to make a lot of money. There's one called Renaissance Technologies, which is founded by a brilliant man named Jim Simmons. He's a billionaire on the East Coast. He used to work for the NSA. His son is out here in the Berkeley area. And his gross returns in his portfolio have been over 50% going back to the 1980s. And the way he does it is he has thousands of Linux servers running in parallel that pick stocks. Nobody knows what's in those Linux servers, obviously, but he's got a lot of inputs that become outputs to pick stocks. For example, let's say it's raining a lot. Well, that's an input, the weather. And if it rains a lot of people don't go out to lunch or dinner. And so it really hurts restaurant stocks. So he can short restaurant stocks. For more details on that, you can always search my YouTube channel for Renaissance Technologies or hedge funds. I've done a lot of vlogs on Jim Simmons and others. Yeah. Your next question is, how many options contracts if you're only trading once a week? Thank you. Your hair looks good. Thank you. So I only recommend, if you're going to do options, please buy options only. Don't write them until you're comfortable with it, because when you underwrite, okay, or sell or short, same thing. When you underwrite or short or sell options, your losses are unlimited. And so when you buy one options contract, they're in lots of 100. So whatever you see on the options monitor, you multiply it by 100. So let me show you really quickly here, and then I'll move on to the next question. This will take me 20 seconds. Okay. So if we go here, and I'll admit people here, just sign up for Zoom if you want. I'll admit you in a second. But if we go here to finance.yahoo.com, I'll show you options on Tesla. And don't pay for any software like Bloomberg or anything, because you can get all this stuff for free right here. So you click here on options, and if the company has options, you'll see them here. So if you wanted to buy any of these options here, what you have to do is you have to look at the last price and multiply it by 100. They're in lots of 100. Yeah. Okay. And please practice like crazy first before making your first options trade. I say that with love in my heart because I care. And again, the losses can be infinite. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, great. And Orca, thank you for joining my YouTube channel. You click join. I've got this new system where you get 5 courses for a discounted price and all that stuff. Thank you. Okay, cool. All right, moving on to Prulashli, who wrote, Chris, there are many new shiny coins out there. Litecoin has historically been referred to as a silver to Bitcoin's gold. What do you think about Litecoin 2022? Yeah, it's usually for smaller transactions. So think about Bitcoin as your savings account, okay? And think about Litecoin as your checkings account. It's a lot faster. I still own it. I've disclosed the 4 cryptos I've owned, and I haven't purchased any others than those recently. Okay, moving on to Manas, who wrote, China wants to have a war with Taiwan. If that happens, what will that mean for the world? And how will the commodity market be affected? And will it mean a nuclear war is inevitable? God, I hope not. So what Nancy Pelosi, who's the third most powerful politician in the United States after the president and vice president, she's the Speaker of the House. What she did is, many of you know, she went to Taiwan a couple days ago. And it's the most senior visit by an American politician to Taiwan in 25 years. And so Biden hinted she was going to go, and then China said, you better not go. And then if Pelosi decided not to go, it would show weakness. So she went. And then what happened, and Taiwan's a very important trading partner to the United States, especially when it comes to semiconductors. Taiwan Semi is the biggest semiconductor company in the world, and the U.S. government's been offering a ton of incentives recently for any large semiconductor company. And there's a shortage of semiconductors globally right now as well. And so it's important that Taiwan Semi, it stays open. And Biden was asked yesterday during a press conference, would you react? Would you be willing to go to war with Taiwan? Right? And I'm paraphrasing, right? Or pardon me, with China. I'm paraphrasing. He said, yes. And he has to do that. Otherwise, what happens is it shows weakness. God forbid there's war. But basically, America always wants to ensure that democracy and freedom, that's right, exists globally. And that was the basis for all other wars they've had. When the United States originally was in Afghanistan, it was to kind of counter Russian or USSR-based communist influence in the Middle East. When the United States was in Vietnam, they were trying to make sure that Chinese communism didn't spread south from North Korea. And the same thing with Taiwan right now. You know, it's the second Cold War started in February of this year when Putin decided to invade Ukraine. And I just hired this amazing Ukrainian developer named Vlad. He's great. And he's in Ukraine right now. His family is safe, and he's going to change my entire website. Vlad, if you're watching, I love you. Yeah. Okay. But I don't think China and the United States, I think they're very rational, you know, unlike Al-Qaeda, to the extent that I don't think that there would be any sort of nuclear retaliation at all. It's just saber rattling going back and forth. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Greg wrote, and Greg, thanks again for that donation. I appreciate it. Next up, Greg wrote, Chris, could you please explain TIPS again? If interest rates can go up, TIPS go down. Yeah. So TIPS stands for Treasury Inflation Protected Securities. And basically what that means is when you buy these government securities, if inflation goes up, the securities, the TIPS go up as well. Hence the name Treasury Inflation Protected Securities. Now, what I recommend doing instead of that is going to treasurydirect.gov and buying treasuries there. Okay. And right now the yield is 9.62%. I never recommend investments because I want to teach y'all how to fish instead of providing you fish. But I put my reputation on the line in this one. I've maxed out. I bought $10,000 worth. I think everybody should as well. Yeah. And by selling treasuries like that, what the U.S. government is doing is it's causing a lot of people, a lot of retail investors in America to say, hey, I'm not going to buy stocks because I'm guaranteed 10% return, basically, by going to treasurydirect.gov, which means you buy government securities directly, hence the name, from the United States government. And a lot of hedge funds realize that, hey, we can't borrow as much money anymore to lever up to invest because rates are going up, which is why the market has been hit. Historically speaking, when rates go up a bunch, the market goes down. Okay. Moving on to Ryan, who wrote, hey, Chris, thanks for everything you do. My pleasure. Thanks for being here. You wrote, I started a hedge fund with my buddies this year. It's been successful thus far. Awesome. I love it. If you have questions about that, let me know. I started a hedge fund years ago. I set up an offshore bank in the British Virgin Islands, which is cheaper than the Cayman Islands. I had a master feeder structure here in the United States. Happy to talk about it in more detail. Yeah. Remember to be long-term focused. And then you wrote, I'm starting to receive inquiries from outside money wanting to invest. Then you wrote, what licenses would I need to take in outside money, and how do you segregate a pool of money? Number one, talk to a lawyer. Okay, you can go to LegalZoom.com and talk to a lawyer there. If you're overseas, do a search on what is the equivalent of LegalZoom.com in my country. Please do that, okay? Because what's going to happen is they're going to tell you you have to create what are called subscription documents, as well as tons of other investment offering memorandums. You're not allowed to take outside money unless somebody has a liquid net worth of well over $1 million, which you'll find out about if they fill out the subscription documents. The subdocs also include stuff like AML, which is anti-money laundering questions, etc. Talk to a lawyer first. Yeah, thanks. Okay. Moving on to Ali. Ali, how are you? Give me 1 second. I lost my place here. This happens every now and then. Oh, here we go. Good. All right, next up, Ali wrote, hi, Chris. Greetings from Zambia. Great to see you. You wrote, I've been offered a good job at a partnership manager position in a company that deals in renewable energy. Awesome. I'm excited to be leaving my current toxic job thanks to you. Thank you for that, and God bless you, and best of luck with it as well. And you must feel good about that too, because it is renewable energy. Yeah. Congratulations. Moving on to KH, who wrote, hi, Chris, hope all is well. Likewise. I love to reinvest dividends. However, my broker only auto-invests dividends that are able to buy a whole share. I did the math. It seems far-fetched. Am I missing anything? Yeah. You might want to change brokers then. There's a lot of brokerage firms online where they'll do automated dividend reinvestment into partial shares. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to Manas, who wrote, in the world of the metaverse and virtual reality and augmented reality, do you think that a brand new company will be the market leader of AR, VR, and metaverse digital device products? Yeah. So what's happening right now is, Facebook has kind of been experimenting with this Oculus thing. I've got it right here. Whoops. Sorry. I've got it right here. They've been somewhat successful, but there's less than 15 million units, which is really not going to move the needle. I think the company that's going to ultimately be successful and figure this out is Apple. Now, according to Apple's patents, I'm going to show you exactly what their product is going to look like, which comes out in January of 2023. They've got a follow-up coming in January 2024, according to people familiar with the matter. Apple AR. Okay. All right, Apple AR. Let's see here. I'll go to images. Here it is here. So it looks something like this, okay? And so right here, the AirPods Max, it looks like this here in terms of the headset. And this is a pretty thin design as well. Again, Apple comes out with this in January, according to people familiar with the matter. I got that from the Wall Street Journal. And I think Apple will figure it out. Yeah, it'll take them a couple of renditions. Kind of like how the first iPod was, I don't know, kind of big and clunky. Yeah. All right, and please go to Zoom to join me on the Zoom call, which I'll open up in a minute. So go into the wait room, then I'll accept you guys. Okay. So again, go to harounmba.com/Zoom, all lowercase Zoom. Thanks. If you want to join Zoom, that is. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll just keep answering questions here. All right, moving on to Bajoy, who wrote, I want to have a side hustle as an investor. Should I work for an investing firm or a bank to enable me to be able to better invest? You don't have to. You don't have to. You know, I humbly provide my students with a ton of courses and programs to learn a lot about how to invest based on my real life practical experience. Yeah. If you do join a big firm, what they'll do is in the first couple of weeks, they'll make sure that you get certified. In the United States, you have to take what's called the Series 7 exam, and they'll give you compliance training as well. And you'll learn on the job. Yeah. Yeah. Don't go to university to learn about, how to invest because it's all theoretical. Take online courses. Yeah. And of course, to be intellectually honest, I am biased. Yeah. I say it with love in my heart. Okay, next up, Manas wrote, as a crypto investors, do you think the Bitcoin will ever cross 100,000 or maybe 200,000? And what about Ethereum in the next 10 years? I'm bullish on both of them. I think they're both going to go up significantly. Yes, well above 100,000 eventually for Bitcoin because there's a dearth of supply. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Ali wrote, how can you investigate if an offshore broker, for example, in Cyprus, is registered or is regulated? Yeah. So in the United States, you can do a search on FINRA, which is a finance-based government body that regulates brokers. In other countries, do a search for what is the FINRA equivalent in country name. Yeah. And never invest unless you get an offering memorandum in any product ever. Thanks. Okay. Next up, I've got Ali who wrote is, what is your take on investing through a broker that only offers credit default swaps? Yeah. Well, I would first of all do a ton of research on that industry first before investing a penny and make sure you understand what is the maximum amount you can lose because those are levered up big time. Yeah. I don't recommend it. Okay, moving on to Manas who wrote, thank you for everything. See you next week and forever and ever. Kudos to the godfather of online teaching. Thank you. Oh, God bless you. I appreciate that. Thanks. Okay, next up we got Rolf. Rolf from Sweden, I think, wrote, I'm interested in using machine voices in my videos. Some time ago, I came across a firm offering to turn my own voice into an avatar or whatever it's called. Have you seen something like this? I have, and I've talked to startups that are focused on this. It doesn't sound very natural, though, yet. And you'll notice a lot of people on TikTok will do that as well. It's this woman's voice. And it's always the same woman's voice as well. It's not perfect yet. It's far from perfect yet. But I am looking into it. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to Pat who wrote, with regards to my previous question, U.S. Treasury bonds may be safe, but they're not really that liquid, right? Because when sold before maturity, there can be substantial loss, correct? It all depends on the bond that you buy. If you're going to buy United States government bonds, I recommend only buying what I'm about to show you, okay? And this is very liquid, and you will never lose money, even if we're in a deflationary environment. I put my reputation on the line on that. So you go here to treasurydirect.gov, okay? Then you click here, how to buy Series I, and you're buying it wholesale from the government, so there's really no fees. And so if you buy it, you get a 9.62% yield, okay? And every 6 months, the yield changes based on the interest rate and inflation. So the next time it changes will be November 1st and then April 1st after that. The most you can invest is $10,000 per year per person. And if you sell it within a year, there are penalties. You want to hold it longer term. Okay. And there are federal taxes too. Okay, moving on to Kevin, who's one of my subscribers to my channel, hence the green trophy. Thank you. Good to see you. You wrote, good morning, Chris. Currently, I'm at the gym. Awesome. While listening to this live, I hope all is well. How well does a portfolio manager's skill set transfer to venture capital? Not very well at all. Okay, so portfolio managers that work in the public markets, they're used to valuing companies based on a lot of financial disclosure, quarterly earnings. And they don't look at management teams that much. Whereas in the venture capital industry, you focus almost entirely on the jockey, meaning the management team, because the jockey is more important than the horse. Yeah. The ones that do okay in venture capital that came from portfolio management, meaning from Wall Street, from investing in stocks, are the ones that focus on later stage rounds, like the guys like George Bishop at Meritech, great firm. Look at Meritech, the best VC firm for late stage investing on the planet. Yeah, maybe we'll have George come on this call. All right, moving on to Nintendo. How are you? Good to see you. I like your green trophy icon. Rita wrote, Chris, our reserve bank in Australia has increased its cash rate for the last 4 months by 1.85%. Yeah. All over the world, governments are raising interest rates. I think it was just this morning, the Bank of England raised rates by 0.5%, which is the biggest rate increase in decades. Yeah. And they're going to be increasing rates a hell of a lot more soon as well. Yeah. And that's nothing compared to the Canadian government, which had a nuclear increase of 100 basis points recently. That's 1%, which spooked the market. In the United States, the government's only raised interest rates twice this year by 0.75%, 2 times. And they're going to do a hell of a lot more too. Yeah. Now, this morning, there was a news release that mortgage rates are going down. And quite often my students ask me, I don't get it, Chris. Interest rates are going up. Why are mortgages going down? Why did that happen? Well, it's not a massive decrease. And the way it works is this. Mortgage rates are somewhat based on the federal funds rate, meaning the interest rate in the United States. But they're also based on whatever a mortgage company wants to sell a mortgage for, as well as on how mortgage-backed security portfolios do. So if there's a mortgage company out there that is not getting as much business as they used to, which is every mortgage company, they might discount a little bit more in order to entice home buyers to get a mortgage. So that's what's happening right now. It's not a massive differential, but we're seeing a small downtick right now in mortgage rates. I expect them to go up longer term. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Naveed wrote, hi, Chris. Hey, do you have a training course on a LinkedIn profile? I do. But what you can also do if you want is just do a search on my YouTube channel on, how to have a great LinkedIn profile. Yeah. Okay. All right, moving on to Mazni, who wrote, hi, Chris, can you share more about personal branding? Yeah, your personal brand all comes down to how you represent yourself on LinkedIn. And if you want an example, you can go to my LinkedIn profile page. I'm not the best at it, but I made plenty of mistakes, so hopefully you can learn from my many mistakes. But what I would say is you got to think of yourself as a thought leader, like the Rodin sculpture, I think, therefore I am. And basically what that means is this. Whatever you're most passionate about, that's what you should write about. And after you write a bunch of articles on LinkedIn, and this is what I did. I wrote 1 article a week on LinkedIn on business stuff. And then after 2 years, that's basically 104 chapters roughly, 104 articles, I put it together in this book here. And you can get a template of this book, which is 6x9, by going to harounmba.com/writebook. All lowercase write book. I don't ask for your email or anything. And so when you build your personal brand about writing what you're most passionate about, eventually people will think of you as a thought leader. Remember the Rodin sculpture, I think, therefore I am. And then when you start going to informational meetings or interviews, etc., you can bring your book and give it to people as well. And if you think that's too much work, and I say this with love in my heart, how badly do you want that job or that customer? It's free to do. Again, go to harounmba.com/all lowercase write book to download this template. And if you have additional questions, please let me know. And don't give a damn if people aren't liking your articles, okay, or your YouTube vlogs, whatever it is you do. I want you to be very long-term focused. because as Warren Buffett said, the longer the view, the wiser the intention. And if you really care what people say about your articles, or if they click the down button, whatever it is on YouTube, which is now hidden, if you really care about that, you'll give up. The most successful people in the world don't give a damn what other people think of them. So remember to opine and write, be a prolific writer, I should say, on LinkedIn. Yeah. All right. Okay, so Ilona wrote, no, better short hair. Okay, let's do a poll here. People, just write down long hair or short hair, and that will indicate what I do this weekend when I get my hair cut. This is like a Mr. Beast thing. I'm not going to shave my head, though, like he does. Yeah. And by the way, Mr. Beast, I know a guy that works with him, is coming out with a video in a couple days or so where he's going to give away the most money he's ever done. It's pretty cool. So write short hair or long hair, okay? And then I'll add up the tally, and that will be what I do with my hair. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to Islam, who wrote, "Hi Chris, how are you doing? I'm always great, thank you, and I hope you're doing well as well." Yeah. Okay, next up we got Kevin, who wrote, "How hard is it to learn qualitative finance? How much math is needed? Is it more coding than high-level math?" And pardon me, you wrote, "How hard is it to learn quantitative finance?" My bad. It's not that hard. It's really simple. So a lot of people get intimidated when it comes to financial modeling, meaning forecasting financial statements to decide what your target price is on a stock. It's easy. All you have to do is this, right? And there's more detail to it, but basically focus on revenue, okay, which is sales. Okay, so forecast what you think sales will be for the next 5 or 10 years. And then every other item on the income statement is a percent of revenue, and then you get earnings. There's a couple more steps as well, but you want to keep it simplistic because less is more. And the problem with Wall Street and business schools in general is they teach you how to value companies using discounted cash flow, which has 8 million steps, which means a lot of room for error, garbage in, garbage out. And if I told you x plus 1 is 3, what is x? It's 2, of course. If I told you x plus 1 plus q plus I love dad mug equals 3, what is x? No idea. And that's what discounted cash flow is. There's too many independent variables, like the weighted average cost of capital, etc. And most of your valuation is all based on the terminal value anyway. I can go into more detail on that if you guys are interested. Yeah. All right. Moving on to Rita, who wrote, "I hope to fix my LinkedIn profile too and use it for my marketing in my lending business." Awesome. Yeah. And again, just do a search on my YouTube vlog and you'll find tips there. Yeah. Again, stick around on this call because towards the end of this call, what I'm going to do, or later on in this call, I'm going to announce who wins the 3-hour one-on-one meeting with me, which you can spread out into multiple meetings throughout the year. And what I'll do during that 3-hour meeting is not only give you one-on-one confidential consulting, for your business, your career, whatever, but I'll also create your entire LinkedIn profile from scratch. I'll do it. No one on my team will do it. It's me. It's fun. Yeah. And please click the like button if this is helpful, everybody. Thank you. And subscribe. I hate saying that, but I have to. My marketing people want me to say that. Yeah. And my marketing people beat me up. They said that, "Chris, at the end of all your vlogs, you shouldn't say what you usually say." And what I've been saying is this usually. If this was helpful, and only if this was helpful, click the like button and subscribe. But it's just who I am. Okay. All right. Next up, we got Eric. Hey, Eric, how are you? And Eric, I gave Eric my silver MBA last week for free. I saw your customer support email. Please reply back to me with the issue. And then he wrote, "China won't directly invade Taiwan first. The strategy is more likely a collapse of America financially, then invade the mainland when we can't fight back. Only then will China invade Taiwan." Yeah. And I think if there's a collapse in the U.S. financial system, China's going to be more hurt than America will. And the reason I say that, right, and they're both attached to the hip, China and the United States, is because the largest foreign owner of U.S. debt is China. And if they lose a fortune on that, then they'll go into recession. And what you saw with Tiananmen Square back in 1989, when CNN had crews there with the riots, that would just be the tip of the iceberg. Because everybody in China, billions of people have these things as well. Everyone's a journalist now. Yeah, it would hurt China more than it would hurt us. Yeah. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second here. Okay. All right. Next up, Eric wrote, J.R. Nyquist and Joel Skousen are experts on communism and have a lot of good information about geopolitics. Yeah. Yeah. I go to Stratigas for that. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to Shivansh, who wrote, do you know any good books to learn about derivative trading and security analysis? Yeah. Whenever I go into somebody's office that's more successful than me, which is every time I go into somebody else's office, I always look on their shelf to see what books they have. And I used to work at a big hedge fund called Citadel. And I spent a half an hour, one day with Ken Griffin, just talking to him one-on-one in his office. He's the billionaire founder of the company. And I looked at his bookshelf, and he had a lot of books by this NYU professor called Damodarian. So do a search on Damodarian and get his books. I think he's great. Anything else I think is too theoretical. I think the best way to learn about derivatives and options is to take my course, or any course, I should say, online. When it comes to learning about options. Yeah. All right. Moving on to Kevin. Kevin wrote, is it worth it for fresh American graduates to work in finance in London, like in Canary Wharf or something? Yeah. Possibly better job opportunities. Taxes are still a big weight for Americans. Yeah. Oof. I don't think it matters where you work, as long as you eventually work at the mothership of the company. The only way to make managing director or CEO of a big investment bank is eventually to work at the mothership. So if you do time overseas in London for an American investment bank, just know that you're going to have to spend time in New York at the mothership, so to speak, the headquarters, in order to get promoted to the highest level. And for anybody living overseas that wants to move into a different country, the best way to do it is this way. Work for, and I'll give you an example with the United States, right? This is applicable everywhere. I don't want to be too US focused. But let's say that you live in country X and you want to live in the United States. Well, work for an American company in company X, do really well for a decade, 5 or 10 years, get promoted, and eventually they're going to promote you to management, vice president level, and move you to the United States. And they have, all these big firms have an army of lawyers that will get you a visa. Okay. Moving on to Pat, who wrote, in regards to Ryan's question of starting a hedge fund, I didn't quite catch it. Did you say you can explain it here, how to do it, or do you have existing resources, including this matter? Thank you. Yeah. You can do a search on my YouTube channel or go to my website, whatever. Just do a search on hedge fund. I've done a bunch of videos on that, but I can answer more questions if you want to. If you have specific questions about starting a hedge fund right here, please get a lawyer involved and register your company, because I don't want anybody to come after your stuff if something goes wrong. Yeah. Okay. And then Pulashi wrote, thank you, Chris. You're most welcome. Orca, good to see you. Okay, next up we got Bajoy, who wrote, thanks, Chris. Appreciate your open-minded knowledge sharing, as well as your tailored courses. My pleasure. And thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thanks. Okay, next up I've got, and let me check here on Zoom. Okay, a bunch of people are waiting. I'm going to start admitting you guys. I'll be with you in a minute or so. If you want to join Zoom, what you can do is go to harounventures.com or harounmba.com, same thing, and join Zoom here. I'll put you guys on in a minute. Thanks. Okay. All right, next up, Shivanthu wrote, can you please explain what is free cash flow and the concept of levered and unlevered concept in brief, if possible? Absolutely. So whenever a company reports earnings, they usually provide 2 sets of financial statements. Okay, every 3 months, and they provide earnings. One set is what the accountants look at, which is called GAAP, for generally accepted accounting principles. And it has all the non-cash items in it, like depreciation. The other set of financial statements in that same press release are called non-GAAP, which some people call pro forma, right? And basically it's for finance people. This is for accountants, this is for finance people. And the non-GAAP financials are cash-based. Basically, it doesn't include non-cash stuff like depreciation. And so basically what you do is you use those financial statements, non-GAAP, and you can figure out what free cash flow is. It's basically earnings from the income statement, getting rid of all non-cash stuff. Okay, and what you can also do is look at the cash flow statement to come up with that. Right now, obviously, there's a lot more steps to that, which I explain in a lot more detail in my videos. In terms of leverage, leverage means borrowing money in order to invest in other stuff. Now, when you're calculating the weighted average cost of capital and you calculate the cost of debt, you always multiply that by 1 minus the tax rate, because you do get a tax incentive to have debt, because interest payments, it's an expense, which means that your taxes are lower. Okay. All right, moving on to Abel, who wrote, hi, Chris, hope all's well, likewise. Great to see you again, likewise. Do you have any advice for compliance specialists when it comes to AML? Yeah, AML stands for anti-money laundering. I'm not an expert in that area at all. I do know that if you want to take in investors when it comes to venture capital money or hedge funds, and I've started venture capital firms and hedge funds before, you have to have your investors fill out an AML form as well, anti-money laundering. I'm not an expert in that area at all. Please talk to a lawyer. Thank you. Yeah, and there's little rules too that you guys all know about. You can't wire more than $10,000 globally. It's been that way for decades, yeah. Moving on to Ricardo, thank you for the emoji. You wrote, Chris, I start my journey with your financial analyst course, and then I took the financial modeling valuation course and capital market and security analysis from the CFI, and I still can't find a job. I'm so sorry to hear that. Okay. So what's probably happening is you're not networking enough. And the problem with me in hindsight when I was younger, and the reason it was hard for me to get a job initially, was because when I was younger in school, I kept my head down. And if I got good grades, my parents were proud of me. You know, my teacher was nice and everything. Then I got into the real world and I did the same thing. I kept my head down. I worked hard. And I looked around and I noticed more people are getting promoted faster than I am. And it didn't make any sense to me. And the reason was because I wasn't asking. You have to ask. If you want anything in life, you have to ask over and over and over again, whether it's a date, I had to ask 8 million times, or a job. Okay. And the way to do it is to network aggressively first. Okay. So check out your LinkedIn profile, do a search on my YouTube blog on LinkedIn, make an amazing LinkedIn profile, and then start networking that way. And whoever wins today's 3-hour one-on-one meeting with me, I'm going to teach how to network on steroids as well. And I guarantee you, you will get that new job. I promise you. Okay. All right. Moving on to Lala. Great to see you again. Lala wrote, hi, Chris and friends. Good to see you. I hope to start the next MBA. Awesome. Listening live, I'm an investment newbie. I look forward to learning solid business acumen in the program. See you soon. Awesome. Thanks. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I enjoy it. I love teaching. It's fun. Thank you for showing up, everybody. Okay. Ricardo wrote, what should I do? I can't even get interviews. Yeah. It's because your LinkedIn profile is not optimized and you're not networking the right way. Again, do a search on my YouTube vlog, my YouTube channel for how to network, LinkedIn, all that stuff. I explain it there. Thanks. Okay, moving on to Orca, who wrote, Chris, a family member is doing a startup hedge fund. Please discuss total compensation they should ask for in terms of salary, equity, carry, 401k, medical, raising 75 million, 67 people. Thanks. Yeah. So the way it works is this. With a hedge fund, you charge 2 and 20 or 1 and 20. And what that means is this. You charge, and I'll just use 2% for now. You charge 2% annual fee on the money you manage and then 20% incentive. So on the $70 million, 2% annual fee is that 1.4 million? 1.4. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, about 1.4 or 1.5 million dollars. That'll be the annual fee you get. Plus, whatever the hedge fund is up, you get to keep 20%. So if the hedge fund doubles, goes from 75 million to 150 in 1 year, $75 million times 20% is $15 million. So that's the compensation you get there as well. If you're down 1 year, you got to make it back above the high water mark in order to get compensated. Okay. In terms of other things, it depends where you're located. I would say base salary, a minimum of 120, depending on how junior you are. If you're more senior, meaning not analyst level, your portfolio manager, probably 200,000. And then in terms of equity, it all depends. If you're one of the founding members, I would say if there's 6 or 7 people, that's probably 10, 15% each, depending on seniority. 401k, the firm's going to get a tax rebate anyway for giving you that. And in terms of levering up, when I worked at Citadel years ago, for every dollar I put into Citadel's funds through my 401k, Citadel levered it up 100% offshore. Yeah. Medical, I would go to glassdoor.com and type up the names of other hedge funds to see what they offer. Yeah. Okay. And if you have follow-ups, let me know, please. Okay, so Rolf is asking, can I have the Zoom link again, please? Yeah, absolutely. Let me show you guys how to do this, okay? And I'll go to Zoom in a second. So all you do is you go to harounmba.com/Zoom. Okay, that's all lowercase. See at the top there? All lowercase Zoom. And then you just click this link right here and read this one sentence here before joining, please. And then I'll open up Zoom. And I'll do it in a second. And I'm sorry I kept you guys waiting. I just want to answer a couple more questions here, and then I'll get to Zoom. Thanks. Okay. Moving on to Liz, who wrote a quick question. Now that the stocks earnings are almost over, meaning earnings season, it's a great time to buy options, correct? Well, it all depends. It all depends if you're buying short-term options, long-term options. It all depends on how they're priced in terms of the implied volatility versus the historical volatility. There's a lot of other factors that go into that, which I explain in my courses and stuff and my videos. Yeah. And then you wrote, less volatility, I read that buying prior to earnings can be risky. What's your opinion? It depends on your direction as well. So what a lot of people do in order to hedge themselves when they own a stock is when they own a stock, they'll buy a put right before earnings. Okay. And they do that in case the stock drops a lot because they'll make money. They'll be protected with the put. Right now, offset the loss from the stock. Okay. And it basically the payoff structure looks like this. Yeah. And I can go into more detail if you want me to. Yeah. Okay. And one more quick thing I want to mention to everybody out there. If you made a lot of money on a stock and you want to sell it, I usually recommend holding it for at least a year because you pay less taxes if you sell it in more than 1 year, less capital gains taxes. And let's say that you've only owned it for 9 months, you made a fortune on it, but you don't want to sell it yet because you don't want to pay high taxes. Well, what you can do is you can buy a put to offset that gain. Okay. And the put can be active for 3 months between your month 9 and month 12. In order to protect you. Okay, it's called a married put. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to Rita, who wrote, thanks, Chris. I'll be visiting the United States in Los Angeles and Las Vegas and would love to meet you in mid-September 2022. Thank you so much. I only do meetings with students when I do my annual graduation ceremony, which I did last December here. Yeah, we rented a wonderful museum. Yeah, thank you, though. All right, Lala wrote long hair. Okay, we're doing the voting now. Long hair or short hair. Okay, so so far we have 2 long hairs and 2 short. Okay, 3 short. So short is winning 3-2. Okay, move on to Eric. And then HT said short hair. Okay, so short is winning 4-2. Keep typing here. I want to increase engagement here because this will determine if I have shorter hair this Saturday. Eric, who just joined one of my programs again for free, wrote, in the 1990s, I thought of closed captioning glasses before they were patented to superimpose captions over a transparent LCD. Interesting. A Canadian named Steve Mann was developing this technology and invented VR technology. Very cool. Very cool. You want to search for patents online as well to see if somebody's done this. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Okay. Okay, most people are saying short hair, so it looks like short hair wins. I will get a cut this Saturday, thanks. It looks like a perm. I don't know if men get perms. We'll call it a merm. Yeah, looks like a poodle, man. It looks ridiculous. It's actually a wig. See, it's a wig. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, the question is question outside of investing. Mostly on business. What books or courses would you suggest on the entertainment industry? Yeah. I'm not an expert in that area, but if Arathi, who's one of my students, is on the call, she works in Hollywood. She's a big-time Hollywood executive. She wrote and directed a movie recently with Cal Penn. She uploaded it on YouTube. Arathi, if you're on the call, you can answer that. If not, I'll answer another time when I ask her. Thank you. All right. But actually, watch masterclass videos. So masterclass, they have great courses that directors like Ron Howard and other movie executives, Martin Scorsese, etc., have created to share their thoughts on best practices. Yeah. Okay, next up, SG wrote, I want to see your background and how you make it transparent without a green screen. Yeah. So what I do is I use a blue screen. You can use any color you want to. The reason people use green is because people don't usually wear green shirts or green clothes. The problem, though, and I have to thank my Irish grandmother for this, I love you, Grandma, is she had, God bless her, had green eyes, and so do I. And so I can't use green screen, otherwise it looks like you're seeing through my soul, which I don't know if I have one, but anyway, Yeah. So I use blue screen. Let me show you how I set this up. Okay. So the way you do it is right here. I'm going to go here. I'm using Wirecast software here. I use Chrome key. See green here? Okay. And I can pick the color if I want to. I've got it set up as blue. And so you're going to see in the next slide here, you see how everything is it's a little bit off, and I have to change it as well. I'll show you the key threshold here. Let me change it so you can see a bit better. Now let me go over here, and lo and behold, it works here. And I'll do it also on this one really quick as well. So I'm going to go here to my layers. It's kind of like using the Adobe product. And I'm going to select green screen here. Okay. And then I'll go to the next screen here. And then I've got to put something else behind me. You'll see the color's not perfect here. So what I'm going to add here, hold on one second. So I'll add, so right here. So one of my great students in Indonesia took this picture. And so that's what it looks like. As you can see, my eyes are they're not as greenish as they were before. Beautiful picture, eh? Let me turn that off now. Hold on one second, go back here, and I'll go back to not using green screen. There we go, done. All right, moving on to Liz, who wrote, please, me, I want to win. Yeah, stick around, everybody, for a little bit longer because I'll be giving away that 3-hour one-on-one call with me to somebody on this call. And then during that one-on-one meeting we do, I'll make your LinkedIn profile, help you any way I humbly can in business. Yeah. All right. Moving on to Rita, who wrote, short hair suits you. Like the Deer Hunter, Robert De Niro on that one. I like Christopher Walken's acting. It was great. And yeah. And then Mindy wrote, your hair looks good both ways. Mindy, I love you. You're the best. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know what my mom would say. My mom would probably say the exact same answer. Yeah. And my mom would say, God made you the way he wanted to make you. Yeah. Next up, we got Mosny, who wrote here, I'm in the midst of writing, starting with a blog. Hopefully I'll end with a book. Can you advise the best website to start a blog? Yeah, I would do it on LinkedIn because LinkedIn is the best way to market yourself from a thought leadership perspective and your brand. That's what I would do. And if you want to look at samples of how to write articles on LinkedIn or how to write articles like a journalist does, just do a search on my YouTube vlog, whatever, on how to write. I used to have my own article in Inc. magazine. My editor told me never, ever, ever have more than 3 sentences in one paragraph. And also he taught me how to make great images and titles, which are really important. Otherwise, no one will click them. Yeah. So do a search on that, how to write on my LinkedIn or on my YouTube page. Okay, moving on to Greg, who wrote, Chris, I'm 90% through your Silver MBA and has been eye-opening and horizon expanding, even for an experienced CA or CPA in the United States, as you wrote, like me. Thank you. God bless you. I appreciate that. We had so much fun putting it together. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next up we got Shavant, who wrote, in my college finance class, there's one guy who knows everything about history, finance, economics, and general knowledge. How do I become someone like him who answers everything? He's like Google, eh? You got to be passionate about it. Whatever you're most passionate about, you learn a lot about. You got to have a curious mind. So for me, for example, I can't just watch a movie. I have to have my iPhone or tablet in front of me and have Wikipedia open or IMDb. I'm just curious about everything. And you can also work smarter, not harder, by listening to audiobooks and the news, while you're doing other stuff like exercising, walking, etc. Alexa, what's the news? It's NPR.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Corva Coleman. A Russian judge has convicted WNBA star Brittany Griner.
Alexa, stop. No more bad news. I hope they return her. It's not fair. Yeah. But anyway, I do that a lot. Another app I actually use, there's an app I use to get all books summarized in like 10 to 15 minutes. It's called Blinklist. Okay. There's an annual subscription fee, but you can listen to any book you want, any big book. Business book, biography, etc., summarized in like 10 minutes, Audible based. It's great. Again, it's called Blinklist.com, or Blinklist is the name of the app. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I've never done it. I want to keep everything pure and just focus on my students only. Yeah, but Blinklist, check it out. It's pretty good. I use it. Okay, next up we got Zach, who wrote, hey Chris, what is your advice on performing research to improve products or invent a new product without a PhD? Is it through the employer or private resources? Yeah. I would say write a business plan. Failing to plan is plan to fail. Write a complete business plan first. Because when you're starting a new product or a new company, you have to think about all the qualitative and quantitative drivers, financials, etc. That's what I would say. And don't get intimidated if you don't have a PhD. PhD stands for, Pizza Hut delivery or other funny things too. I can't say. Yeah. Don't get intimidated by that stuff. Anybody can invent. A lot of people here in Silicon Valley don't have even high school degrees, and they've been way more successful than I'll ever be. Okay, next up we got Greg, who wrote, I'm looking at starting a training course on practical skills for new accounting grads going into corporate practice. Can I sell and include some of your courses in this? Absolutely. And if you want, what you can do is just take my slides even and everything I say, and you can re-say them yourself if you want to. If you're interested in an affiliate program, you can email support@harounventures.com as well if you want to profit on the side. Thanks. Okay, Rita wrote, China will not go to war as the United States has crushed their bluffs. Nancy Pelosi is the next Iron Lady, like Margaret Thatcher, yeah. And she's put her stamp on leadership. Yeah, and it's interesting because we all know Pelosi is a Democrat, but Republicans really supported her as well, which was strange. Republicans usually don't say anything nice about Pelosi, but they supported what she did with Taiwan as well. Yeah, it showed strength. All right, next up we got Kevin. Okay. We got Kevin here who wrote, hey, Chris, what are your thoughts on Wall Street moving away from their strict dress code? It's becoming more casual. I feel like there was something special wearing suits to work. Yeah, this started changing back in the late 90s during .com one bubble. So what happened was, everybody in Silicon Valley and Silicon Alley in New York City came to work, dressing casual. And so what they did in Wall Street was they started doing casual Fridays, right? And so they started doing that. I think it's going to become commonplace. The whole notion of wearing a tie, it's all stuffy. I hate that. I can't breathe with one. Yeah. Okay, and if Wall Street keeps losing jobs to tech startups, they'll become less formal. Yeah, it all balances out. Moving on to Eric, who wrote, I'm looking for a job and trying to make it clear I'm looking for a career rather than just a job. Yeah. So when you're doing your informational meetings, and by the way, don't apply for jobs if you see a job opening online. What does that mean? Well, every time you see a job opening online, you literally, statistically, you have a 1 in 250 chance of getting that job. And the person that gets that job is not necessarily the most qualified person. It's the person that knows more people at that company. So these are the rules. So what I recommend doing is after you perfect your LinkedIn profile, I want you to network with people at companies you want to work at and add value to them and help them with their careers. And I teach you about this in all my videos and stuff. And then ask. Give and you'll receive. It's prophetic. It's been true since the beginning of time. It works. I promise you. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the Berlin. Hey, how are you? The Berlin wrote, good morning, Chris. Blackrock and Coinbase partnered up. What do you think about that partnership? Yeah, so Blackrock is massive. It's got trillions and trillions of dollars in assets. It kind of makes Coinbase look much more relevant than they once were. Yeah, and it might lead some investors to believe that Coinbase might be one of the sole exchanges that doesn't have a risk for going belly up. Yeah. I'd be interested to see, though, if BlackRock bought an equity stake in Coinbase. If they did, I would back up the truck and buy Coinbase. Okay. And then Zach wrote, how do you market coupons correctly? How do you pitch it to businesses to join the plan? It all depends. Now, the best way to market coupons and the best way to market yourself and a company and a brand online is through email. Right? I know it's old school email and the younger generation doesn't use it, but it matters. And so what you have to do is you have to try your best to get as many emails as you can by giving away a product like a book for free or something. Yeah. And then add a lot of value through newsletters, whatever it might be, kind of like I humbly try to do. And then you can send coupons afterwards. Yeah. Okay. All right. Everybody is saying short hair, which is what it's going to be. Okay, great. And please like everybody if this is helpful to you guys. I do this free thing every week, and it would really help my YouTube channel. Thanks so much. All right. Okay, and give me 1 second, guys, here. Okay, everybody is saying short. And then Namai wrote, whatever you feel comfy with, you look stunning anyways. Thank you. And thank you for the emoji as well. Thank you. Yeah. I look more handsome this way. But if I go sideways, it's a freaking disaster. Look at this thing. It's huge. It's interesting because during COVID, when I would wear my mask, I get a lot more women would look at me. Because with the mask on, I look better because you can't see this, right? Because I'm basically a scud when it comes to my looks. And what that means is this. If you guys watched Wayne's World years ago, this is going to date me. It's a missile. And the closer you get to me, you're like, oh my God, he's so ugly. But this worked out really well. It was good. I got a lot more looks. Thanks. And if you can't laugh at yourself, you take life too seriously. Yeah. All right. And then you wrote that eye story is so funny. Yeah, green eyes. Thanks, Grandma. Yeah. Dr. Michael Nunez from Arizona says short hair. Thank you for that, man. It was great seeing you on Zoom yesterday, too. That was fun. Eric said, my eyes are bluish green. I'm part Irish, just like me. And green eyes runs in my family. Some family members also have red hair. Interesting, yeah. And I'm Catholic because of my Irish grandmother. Yeah. Okay. Daryl is saying short hair. Thanks, Daryl. And I think you're the same Daryl I emailed yesterday about accidentally not accepting you to that alumni group. So email me again. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, it was an accident. All right. Good morning, Matthew from Brantford, Ontario, where Wayne Gretzky was born. Great to see you. Moving on to Berlin, who wrote, who's in San Bernardino, California, who wrote, Chris, when you invest in the S&P 500 and VOO index, and by the way, VOO, VOO, for those who are not familiar with it, it's a way to buy the S&P 500 and only pay 0.04% in fees. I'll show you guys in a second. It's way better than buying the SPY. So when you wrote here, when you invest in the S&P 500 and VOO, full amount annually, is that one person per period, or can you open multiple accounts from different brokerages? For example, yeah, you can buy from anywhere. It's just a stock. Let me show you guys. Yeah, and if you guys are confused in terms of what to buy, I always recommend just buying the S&P 500 ETF, which is up 10.5% annually. Over the past, I'll let you guys hear. Sorry, it's up 10.5% annually, historically. All right, so let's go to finance.yahoo.com. I'll show you guys here. Okay, and I recommend buying this. I can't time the market. Nobody can. Okay, this is made by Vanguard, which is the best ETF company. So the first thing you always look at before buying, a stock or an ETF, the first thing you always want to look at is liquidity. Can you get in and out if need be? So the average volume is 5 million shares times 381. So yes, it's very liquid. The second thing you look at is the fee structure. How much are the fees? And if you go right here, you see that the fees, oh, it's lower now. Wow. I guess because maybe the S&P went down. Yeah. So you're only paying, or up, I should say, you're only paying 0.03% per year. And that means this: for every $100 you put into VOO, which represents the S&P 500, for every $100 you put in, you only pay 3 pennies per year in fees. Yeah. And basically, if you look at the breadth and depth of this index by going to holdings, you can see here that you've got you've got 11 sectors here, and this represents U.S. economy, meaning the 11 sectors in the S&P 500. The United States economy is very tech heavy, which is why you've got most of the top 10 holdings are in tech stocks. And if anybody has follow-up questions about that, let me know. But buying that is kind of like buying a stock. Yeah. Okay, there's a ticker for everything these days. Okay. And then Rita wrote, the blue background is more professional. I agree. I agree. Okay, and I could change it too, just with the lights up here. I've tried different colors. Yeah, like that. But I like blue. Yeah. All right. I guess I should announce who's going to win that thing. I'll do that. I'll do that once we go to Zoom. So if anybody wants to join Zoom, join in, and I'll be with you guys soon if you want to ask questions that way. Okay. All right, next up, Eric wrote, I've been learning graphic design skills and I want to develop custom backgrounds. Very cool. And you can go to upwork.com and have that as your side hustle if you want to. I hire a lot of graphic designers from upwork.com. Yeah. All right. Rita wrote, Chris, I'm 2 months into your Platinum MBA. Any ideas when I can have the one-on-ones with you? You can start now. You can start now. And if you want, what we can do is, so we have our weekly gold and platinum office hours every week at 11:20. Okay, so today at 11:20 a.m. my time, Pacific time. Ask me about it, and I'll show you how. But you could have started when you first joined the program as well. Yeah. Okay. Satones. Mark, how are you? Mark Satones, he's in Detroit. Great guy. He is Google. Okay, he knows everything about everything. I always enjoy talking to him. Mark, come on to Zoom with us, buddy. I want everybody to meet you and learn from you like I always do. So Mark wrote, if you hire somebody from Fiverr or Upwork, do you pay them to be a contractor filing, meaning a 1099 versus employee filing, or a W-2? Oh, interesting. I think what probably happens is this. Upwork and Fiverr will send them 1099s. For example, when I sell stuff on eBay, and I used to sell a ton of stuff, what eBay would do is they send me a 1099 at the end of the year. For those who are not familiar with 1099, it basically means if you make over $600 from a little side hustle, whoever you made it from has to issue you a 1099. If you make less than $600, you don't claim taxes on it. Yeah, I don't think. Talk to your accountant though. Yeah. All right. And then Rolf said PhD stands for press here, dummy. I like that one. Or Pizza Hut delivery. Yeah. Or plumbing, heating, and dishwashing. Yeah. Moving on to Mosny, who wrote, thank you for answering my question. You're most welcome. I'm a silver MBA student, still ongoing. Thank you. I hope to be joining the weekly YouTube and Zoom sessions with you, constantly struggling with that. Yeah. And so for those in the silver program, if you look at the first lecture in your curriculum, I do a weekly call just for silver students using Zoom every Thursday at 10 a.m. my time. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we got Lala, who wrote, hey, Chris, I have alternative medicine business that I want to build. I know nothing about business. Do you think I'll be well equipped in the MBA? Yeah. So I teach a lot about how to start a company in the third semester of the program. I don't want this to be a sales thing at all, but in the third semester of the program, I have a venture capital boot camp based on my experience working in the venture capital sector. I help you out there. Or you guys can just do a search on YouTube for how to make a business plan. Yeah. All of YouTube, not just my channel, of course. Okay, next up, the Berlin from San Bernardino, California wrote, speaking about Pelosi and her husband's trading skills. Yeah, I don't think anybody that works in government, I don't think their spouse or senior levels at least, congressman or higher, congressperson or higher, I don't think they should be allowed to buy stocks. Yeah, or they can just buy, the S&P 500 ETF. That's it. It's not fair because of inside information. Next up, Keith wrote, I'm enjoying the MBA. Thank you. What is your approach to interviewing IT contractors? Any tips for hiring IT project managers? Yeah, you want to make sure that they've got great people skill. Definitely. You want to ask them, what kind of project management experience do you have? What software products do you use in order to manage timelines? So they understand critical path, all that stuff. Yeah, I would ask that, but I would just focus on how good are they as leaders, and ask them to actually show you the software programs they've used in the past in order to manage projects. Yeah, and that's from my Accenture days. Yeah, and there's a lot more to it than that, Keith. Yeah, and you can always search for one of my courses, whatever, on interviewing and stuff. I've conducted over 1,000 interviews in my career. That's about one per week for 20 years. Yeah. The most important thing, though, when you're interviewing somebody or being interviewed is to bond. Because business is about relationships first and product knowledge second. You want to bond before business. Don't anybody ever go into an interview when you're being interviewed and start pitching yourself right away. You talk about what you have in common. You want to bond with them because you never get that second chance to make a first impression. It's a cheesy line I got from a Head & Shoulders commercial from the 1980s. I am that old. Yeah, you want to bond with them. If you're not sure how to bond with somebody in business, then before you're meeting with them, go to their Twitter profile to see who they follow. If they follow certain athletes, you know what sports to talk about, for example. Or you can go to LinkedIn to see what companies they follow. And you can basically draw up a conversation based on that. Or maybe you go to LinkedIn and you find out that you have a bunch of contacts in common with them. You can talk about that as well. Yeah. Always bond before business. Yeah. All right. All right, next up, Matthew from Brantford, Ontario, the home of Wayne Gretzky. How are you, buddy? Great to see you. Matthew's asking, when writing my book, if I get advice from other professionals, for example, tips they have, how would you reference them if they aren't well known online, or should I just stay away from adding? You can ask them if you want to. I did that in my books as well. I'll reference buddies of mine if they've had great IP or great ideas. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with mentioning, successful people as well. I mentioned, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, who I've met in my book. There's There's no copyright on that. Yeah. But if you create a YouTube vlog or a book and you say negative things about people, then there could be a lawsuit. But saying positive things, what you learn from, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah. Okay. All right. Michelle said, you love my hair. And you said, be proud of that nose. Thank you. Thank you. I am proud. I can kick anybody's ass in skiing. Because when you tuck with this thing, man, you go faster. Same thing with cycling. Yeah. It's aerodynamic, folks. Yeah. All right, moving on to Liz, who wrote, you got a great sense of humor like me, LOL. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, my little sister is Liz as well. She's Elizabeth. And she used to tease me, and I teased her. When she was younger, I once called her lizard breath, and she got mad at me. Yeah, but she deserved it. No, she didn't. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the Berlin, who wrote, I believe short hair looks better. Yeah, does the lawn look better with long grass or short, clean cuts? Oh, I love that. Excellent, excellent. That's great. That's great. Yeah, I'm going to go with short hair, guys. Yeah, yeah. And then Namai wrote, nope, you're not ugly. I'm going to catch the replay. Have a nice day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, but if you have a big nose, I'm telling you, man, when you walk outside with these things on, you get more looks. Yeah, I felt like Bradley Pitts when I had this thing on. Okay, moving on to Rita, and I'll go to Zoom in a second, guys. Thanks. All right. Actually, here's what I'm going to do. The person that's going to win the 3-hour one-on-one with me has to be on Zoom. So I'll show you how to go onto Zoom, and I'll announce it very, very soon. So the way to go onto Zoom is you go directly to, I'll show you here, harounmba.com/all lowercase Zoom. Okay. So, and then click here to go onto Zoom. So again, whoever is on Zoom, and I'll give you guys a little while to get on there, will win the MBA or win the one-on-one with me, right? One person. Yeah. All right. Hold on a second. Let me get back over here to answer questions. This is a fun call. And as you guys can see, I'm shining right now. So this is what they do on television. They have these makeup people come over to get rid of this. I have tons of lights here you guys can't see. Yeah. All right. All right. Rita wrote, Chris, I'm a student. Can you add me and others to Q&A of your programs, or do you have other classes? And when? Thanks. Yeah. So Rita, what you can do is go to the curriculum, send an email to support@harounventures.com with that question, and I'll provide you with tons of detail. Thank you. Okay. Support@harounventures.com. All right. Next up, we've got, and let's see if anybody is joining. Ooh, a bunch. Oh my God. Tons of people are joining. Okay. Keep joining Zoom, guys. Okay. Thanks. All right. All right. And by the way, if you're already in one of my programs where you already paid for 3-hour one-on-ones, you won't be part of this. It'll be somebody else. But thank you. Yeah. You won't win the prize, but I love you. Okay. Moving on to Pride. I love your name. You wrote, hi, Chris. I've noticed that most people in big firms write Ray Dalio as their interest on LinkedIn. In your perspective, what makes him special? Thanks. Yeah, so Ray Dalio, for those who are not familiar with him, he was the CEO and founder of Bridgewater, which is the largest hedge fund in the world, based in Connecticut, Bridgewater, Connecticut. And he wrote a lot of books on how to run a company, economics and stuff. I have friends that have worked directly for him. There's no filter here. I always tell you what I know. Okay. So he's brilliant, okay, from an economics perspective. But from a management perspective, I would run things differently. At his firm, every single conversation between every employee is recorded, period. Every single one, except in the bathroom. So I don't think that's the best management practice, to be honest. Yeah. And turnover there, based on my friends that have worked there, is about 40% per year, meaning 40% of people leave there every single year. So I would take his advice more so on economics and finance stuff and less so if he talks about principles of management. Yeah. But I think he's brilliant. He's very wealthy too. But I don't respect somebody because they're wealthy. Like Elon Musk. I hate it that everybody worships this guy, and meanwhile he's got kids with a bunch of different wives. He cheated on his wife with Sergey Brin, as you guys know. That's not cool. Yeah. All right. That's one of the 10 rules in the Old Testament too, right? Not to have any false gods. Like money is shouldn't be your idol. Yeah. All right, next up, Matthew wrote, VU is 3 cents on $100. That's amazing, yeah. And then you wrote, what would be a mutual fund fees with $100? Probably not good. A lot higher than you think, close to 4 or 5%, including hidden fees, including taxes, because mutual fund managers, they buy and sell all year long sometimes to chase performance, especially at year end, which means you're paying higher capital gains taxes if there are profits. Mutual funds are a scam. Search my YouTube channel for that as well. I've done a ton of vlogs on that. I don't think anybody should ever buy, oh my God, tons of people on Zoom. I love it. Okay. I don't think anybody should ever buy mutual funds. All right, and I'm going to switch over to Zoom in a second, and I'll show you guys how that's developing here. Tons of people are joining. We got Michelle from Texas. You warm my heart. It's always good to see you with your granddaughter's paintings behind you. Awesome to see you. Okay, I'll get you guys in a second here. Okay. And now I'm going to start taking questions in a second, only from Zoom. So switch over to Zoom, everybody, if you want to. Okay. Okay. Next up, Marios wrote, hey, Chris, I'm already part of the Silver MBA since last week. Thank you. I'm really enjoying the course. Regards, Marios. Thank you. I had a lot of fun putting it together. Credit goes to my amazing Chief Creative Officer, Matt Lacus, for putting that together as well. He's done a great job. He's a good dude. He's a good friend. Okay. Rita wrote, Chris, how do I connect to others so you can please email me the links on? Yeah, just send an email to support@harounventures.com and I'll personally answer it tonight. Thanks. All right, getting hungry. Let me get a little bit of breakfast here. All right. Okay, a couple more questions. So I'll switch over to Zoom, and I'll take questions over Zoom as well. And I'll announce who the winner is of that 3-hour one-on-one with me. Yeah. I'm the winner because I get to meet with somebody. Yeah. All right. I put blueberries in my weekly shake. All right, next up, NR wrote, how do I get customers? I've done LinkedIn. I've got 2 customer case studies. I professionally created a brochure and a website, keeping it short, but I still can't get to customers. Yeah, I do have a course on that. You can go to udemy.com and do a search on how to sell anything. It's a relatively new course, yeah. And then you wrote, my service is obviously good. It's a cloud consulting company. I purchased old school advertising websites here in Canada and nothing. Prospecting doesn't work yet. Don't waste your money on advertising. The best way to get customers is to do a lot of networking meetings and to be a thought leader on LinkedIn. And so if you're a thought leader and you opine a lot, meaning you give your opinion a lot, then what will happen is people will see you as like an authoritative figure. And then eventually what will happen is it'll become self-fulfilling to the extent that you will get customers, right? And the media will start approaching you too if you publish a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. Okay, so make sure your LinkedIn profile is top notch. Just do a search on YouTube on how to make a LinkedIn profile. Watch my vlogs. I've done tons of those. Yeah. And network like crazy, especially in consulting. Consulting's tough, man. There's over 100,000 consulting firms in North America. It's very fragmented. And the ones that do best are the ones that have great relationships. And that's why in consulting firms like Accenture, McKinsey, etc., when you're very senior, you become a partner. And a partner is a glorified salesperson. Yeah. They can network. That's why CEOs are usually great salespeople as well. All right, everybody keep joining Zoom, and I'll announce in a minute who the winner is. Okay. All right. Next up, Eric wrote, government people don't go rich from trading skills. Obviously, they're being bribed and paid off. It's a pay-to-play system, yeah. Especially in Texas, I've heard as well. Corrupt government officials, yeah. Not all of them, but lots. Yeah. And then you wrote, Pelosi probably receives huge speaking fees whenever she makes a decision to help. It's the same with Hillary Clinton and others. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can accept them when you're working in government. I know Obama can make 6 figures for a speech now, but not when you're working there. Yeah. And Matt wrote, the one-on-ones with Chris are totally worth it. Thank you. Like my Canadian brother. Then you wrote, I definitely go on to Zoom to try out. Yeah, thank you. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks. And I'll open up Zoom in a second here. Okay. You know what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to Zoom right now. And so if you guys want to join Zoom, I will announce who the winner is very soon. And I'll make it random, okay? I'll make it completely random. Okay. Okay, great. And Michelle's asking, well, I'll get to your question there in a second. Okay, everybody join Zoom now because what I'm going to do is I'm going to give that away. And this is for my one-on-ones, how I usually time them. I'll give away. In 59 seconds, I will announce who's going to win. Okay? Now we got a timer here. Again, I use this for my one-on-one meetings. So I'll wait till you guys join here, and I'll pick somebody randomly. And what I'm going to do to make it fair is I've got a couple of dice here. I'm going to roll the dice and I'll make it mathematical. Okay. See how many people we can get on here, man. This will be fun. All right, 33 seconds left. Give me 30 seconds before I roll the dice and give this the 3 hours one-on-ones away. I'm going to go now to Michelle. Michelle wrote, what is that brand of makeup that I use? I didn't know you have to match it to your skin. I went to the pharmacy to get this, and my wife got this for me from a place called Sephora. But it's called Stay Matete, M-A-T-T-E. It's by Rimmel. Yeah. Yeah, maybe he's beautiful. Maybe it's Maybelline. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, Michelle, for laughing at that one. I appreciate it. Oh, here we go. All right. The winner is, how am I going to do this? All right. So I've got here, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 4 is 20, 18. We got 18 people here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, how do I make it fair? Okay, I'll roll this dice. Okay. I'll roll this, and then whatever number comes up, I will count, okay, from the top. So I'll just do, I'm going to do 2 dice. Here we go. Rolling the dice. Okay, I've got here 4 and 2. Okay, that's 6. So the winner is, and let me admit here, the winner is number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's Calvin Calderon. You win. Congratulations. Everybody applaud. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Very cool. Excellent. Excellent. And Calvin, you did the hip hip hooray sign. And Calvin, come on here, man, if you want. Everybody, show me your face if you want. And then we're going to have you guys ask questions this way here, if you guys want to. And so there we go. Calvin, what you can do, Calvin, is send an email to support@harounventures.com, and then we will send you. And while you're driving, you don't have to look here. But what we'll do is I'll send you the details on how to get the 3 hours of one-on-ones. And I'm the winner here, not you, because I get to meet you and learn from you. Beautiful car, man. Look at that. That's awesome. Is that a Tesla?
That's exciting. I can't wait.
Awesome. Awesome. Excellent. Again, email support@harounventures.com, and I'll personally respond tonight when I catch up on emails. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for being here directly on Zoom. Yeah, and if you want to join Zoom, Grace wrote, I can't find the Zoom link. Just go to harounmba.com/Zoom. That's ZOOM. I say Z the right way because I'm Canadian. I don't say Z. And you can join Zoom here. All lowercase Zoom. Yeah. Cool. All right, let's start taking questions. Cool. And we got 31 minutes left in the call. And then I've got to go to my silver MBA students' office hours. Okay, good. Look at all the people here, man. This is fun. Way cool. All right. All right. So whoever has a question on Zoom, go ahead, please.
Hey, Chris, I have a question.
Sure.
So I'm trying to understand the tail end of an option purchase. So once you've purchased, let's say, a long call, and you are ready to sell and get your money or get out fast, whatever, do you just sell it? And then when you sell it, who buys it? Like, what happens to that? Kind of confused.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of like buying a stock. When you sell it, somebody else buys it from you. Okay. Or what can happen is whoever underwrites the option, okay, whoever creates it, they have a risk of getting randomly assigned as well. Okay. Only 10% of options traders get randomly assigned every now and then. That's there, and you don't have to worry about that. But just for you, you can sell it. Or what you can do is you can actually convert it into buying those shares, or you can let it expire. And sometimes it expires worthless. The longer, if you think something's going to expire worthless or not worth very much, you want to sell as fast as you can, because there's something called time decay.
Right.
Yeah. So as soon as you can sell it, the better. Yeah. And make sure to practice a lot using Thinkorswim's software. Yeah.
Yeah, I am. But so then when I want to get out, all I have to do is just click sell.
Yes. Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can either sell at a market order or a limit order. I recommend doing limit orders because options really aren't that liquid. And when something doesn't trade a lot, the difference between the bid and the ask spread is wide. Like you can drive a truck through it. Right? So you want to pick a certain price in between. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah. Yeah. And anybody starting out with options, please practice for at least 6 months before placing your first trade. And please do not ever sell options, meaning underwrite them or short them. Okay. Buy them at first until you practice a lot. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Next question. How about we do this? Whoever's on the, because we have a lot of people here, why don't you raise your hand? And what you can do is, if you go down here to, I think it's reactions, this little icon down here in the bottom right-hand corner, you can raise your hand here. Yeah. Yeah, anyway, or yeah. So if you have a question, raise your hand. All right, Michelle, you go ahead again.
I don't.
You don't have I put you on the spot there. It's just.
I know, right? Well, hey, I got out of jury duty today.
Oh, nice.
I shouldn't. It was Zoom jury duty. Is that crazy?
Wow.
We were all on Zoom, and I shouldn't say I got out of it. I wasn't chosen. I never get chosen.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So then I've done my deal for 6 months, and but it was like 500 people online. It was crazy.
No kidding. Like a Zoom like this?
Yes, a Zoom just like this. 7 pages of people.
That's cray.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you got out of it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind, but for some reason, I guess it's just not in my stars.
Yeah. Well, at least you didn't have to go and waste a whole day showing up somewhere. I hate that.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That I've done a few times.
Yeah. I'm great. So let me teach you guys how to get out of how not to get a traffic ticket. Okay. And this is awful what I'm going to say. Kelvin was driving a car. Kelvin, do not look unless you're at a stoplight at what I'm about to say. So what happens is there's photo traffic tickets, right? So if you go through a red light, they take a picture of you and you have to pay hundreds of bucks. Now, I went to court to contest this, and I learned that it's not automated to the extent that it's not a computer that decides to give you a ticket. They have police officers that after hours, they match the picture of you going through that red light with your driver's license. So when you go through a light, please be careful. I hate saying this, but put your visor down or put your hand down a little bit, right? But make sure you can see everything. And I've done that a gazillion times, and I have not gotten another $400 ticket. Yeah, and the ticket was at Millbrae and 101 for me here here on the left coast. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Who's got a question? There you go. Okay, Rita, go ahead, please, and please unmute yourself.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm great.
I'm enjoying your time. You look really great, and your show is fantastic.
Thank you.
Your teaching is extraordinaire.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much.
Chris, what I want to see if I can get on the other program, and what time do you start them? I don't have a timetable of any of your things to do. I would love to have that. That's what I'm missing.
Yeah. If you're interested in that, you could set up a call with me, a Zoom call. So just go to Haroun MBA/FAQ. All lowercase.
FAQ,
yeah, and you'll see a link there, and we can do a Zoom call if you want. Yeah.
I look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank
and
you.
Look, this is a look. It's 3:20 in the morning in Australia.
Oh no! Oh, you're
cold here.
Awesome. I've got a lot of students down there as well. Very cool. And where in Australia are you?
I'm in Melbourne.
Okay, Melbourne. Excellent.
Melbourne, Australia. Yeah.
Beautiful. I went to Sydney on my honeymoon.
I know you mentioned that to me one day.
Yeah. Gorgeous. Yeah.
We'd love to have you again. I'll give you the key of the town. I'll invite you down.
No, thank you. I love Australia.
Be my pleasure. Be my pleasure.
No, I've actually, like anybody uses Siri, you've got to change Siri to an Australian voice, because when an Australian speaks and you keep your eyes closed, it sounds like they're smiling. Yeah.
It's fantastic. Yeah. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Cool. Excellent.
So do I need to log in for the other program, or I'll stay on with the other program you have?
Are you
on 11:20?
Are you silver? Are you platinum or gold or what do you have?
I'm a platinum.
Oh, you're
Chris.
already platinum. Okay, well,
And I start in June.
Oh, yeah, you could start booking one-on-ones now. Yeah. So yeah, just yeah, 11:20. If you just log in, you'll see in the calendar there how to join this webcast. Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. Great to see you. Thank you. Excellent. I'm so sorry.
And I welcome many of your students. If they come to Melbourne, Australia, I look after them for you.
Awesome. Thank you. Very cool. I love Australia. Excellent. All right, let's move. Anybody else have questions? Okay, no. Anybody on the webcast or Zoom? If you have a question, raise your hand. What I'll do is I'll go back here to see if there's other questions here. Okay. All right. So the Berlin from San Bernardino, California wrote, Chris, Walmart is laying off corporate employees. Reminds me of the Ben Affleck movie, The Company Man. Yeah, that was a sad ending to that too. Yeah. So for those who are not familiar with what happened, Walmart, ticker WMT, laid off a couple hundred executives. Press release went out, I think it was last night. Yeah, it's sad. And their earnings weren't pretty. Makes sense though, because we are in a recession. Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay, you guys don't have to raise your hand, just start talking. How's that?
Chris, can you hear me?
Oh, Greg, how are you? Good to see you, man.
I was wondering if you could say anything about J.P. Morgan. A year ago, everyone was predicting that the stock would go up because of interest rates going up.
Yeah.
But it's done the opposite.
Yeah. I'm not sure what's happened there. What I would do is I would look at a correlation between that and Goldman Sachs or GS, Morgan Stanley, MS, and a bunch of others to see if it's company specific or sector specific. If it's sector specific, then the answer is because all stocks are going down in the sector. If it's company specific, then what you can do is listen to the last earnings call, especially the Q&A section, to find out what the biggest concerns are from the analysts. Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm a big fan of Jimmy Dimon, though. He's a good dude. Yeah.
Did you ever get your Tesla?
We did. Yeah, we got it. We got it. I think it was a couple months ago. It finally arrived. We ordered it last year in the summer. They said it would come in December. It took a long time. Yeah. It's almost. I mean, it's because of supply issues, but it's almost unethical what they're doing. They keep promising it's coming and whatnot, and it's ridiculous. It's kind of like what Elon did with Cybertruck like 2 years ago. He saw that what's the other company called that makes trucks, electric trucks? What's it called again? Rivian, yeah. So he saw that Rivian was starting to do well in trucks, and so he said, "Hey, we're coming out with a Cybertruck. You can pre-order it here." It's been years. Yeah. I mean, it's a brilliant marketing tactic on his part. I mean, the guy spends nothing on marketing or advertising, right? But yeah. Yeah, but we're pretty happy with it. It was the Model Y or 3, I can't remember. Whatever, I don't even know. It's not the most expensive one, but it's like a computer. It's a little bit too plain for me. Like I like a bigger dashboard. It has kind of a small dash, looks like an iPad, and it's not that intuitive. Like I had no idea how to turn the side mirrors, and I had to actually do research how to figure that out. It's kind of a safety issue. Yeah. But we're the battery's been fine. Haven't had any issues there. Yeah, and we just got an e-bike as well, which is fun. Might get a couple more. It's just fun to motor around those things too. Yeah. But it's tricky. I've got two of my boys have driver's licenses now, so we got enough cars everyone can use them. Whatever. This guy, he's 18. He starts Berkeley next month. Very sad. He's gonna be leaving, but he's close to home, I guess. This guy here, Matthew, he's 17. He drives now too. And this guy, Dylan, is 12 going on 30. And Dylan is the youngest one always, eh? But he's pretty wise. He's a good guy. Yeah. He's like a son to me. Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah. And then Rita says, congratulations to Kelvin as well. Very cool. Awesome. So we got about 20 minutes left. Let's get some questions here. Anybody got questions?
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Oh, yeah, you go first.
Okay, so
No, you go first.
Okay. Well,
Okay, thanks.
Kelvin, then we'll go Rita. Okay, Kelvin, go ahead. Congrats, man.
Thank you. Very exciting.
Very cool.
So my question is, when you're deciding on to like which stock to buy,
Yeah.
and you're doing like a top-down analysis, right? You look into the economy, how it's doing, and you want to filter down into like which sector and eventually which industry to invest in, or to look into like which stock to buy. How do you approach that process of like deciding which sector and then which industry you're going to get into? Is it you're looking at the performance relative to each other?
Yeah.
You look at like PE ratios between
Yeah.
different sectors and industries. What do you like to look into?
Yeah, so great question. So what I initially start off doing is I ask myself a simple question, which is this. In 5 years, will this sector be more or less relevant than it is today? So that's kind of my top-down research. Okay, and there's a lot more steps, obviously. And then what I do is after I identify the sector, then I'll look at the largest companies in the sector by market share. And then I'll look at the management team, right? And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people just go right to valuation, all that stuff. But what's the point of building a financial model if you're not comfortable with the management team? And I learned that from having worked in venture capital. You know, the jockey's more important than the horse.
That's correct.
Yeah. And so what I do is I look at the management team, and once I feel comfortable with them, then I'll start doing a screen based on valuation, relative valuation. And I'll think about catalysts as well in terms of what products might be coming out that will make investors more excited about this company in the future. So for example, years ago when I looked at Lionsgate Film, ticker LGF, back in 2012 in January, I was really bullish on that stock, and the credit goes to a guy named Brian Carter, who I worked with, who came up with the idea. But I was really bullish on that stock because with Lionsgate Film, I had just finished reading The Hunger Games, and they had 3 movies coming out over the next couple of years. You know, Hunger Games 1, 2, and 3, and they kind of divided the third one into 2 pieces, kind of like The Hobbit, boring, too long. And so those are nice little catalysts for it. And so you want to buy stocks that people are going to like. And so Wayne Gretzky, who's my hero. Where's my hockey stick? I got to get my hockey stick. Hold on a second. All right. Because I am Canadian. But Wayne Gretzky, who's my hero, he was successful not because he skates where the puck is, but rather because he skates where the puck is going to be. And by the same token, we want to invest in stocks that people are going to like. And that's why from a fundamental perspective, you got to always look at investment catalysts, right? You want to buy stocks that people are going to like. And that's why I start off with that 5-year question. Will this company or sector be more relevant in 5 years? And so then you build out the financial model, and you never value a company based on earnings this year or next year. What you do is you build out your financial model, and you figure out what earnings will be in 5 or 10 years. And you base your target price based on a price earnings multiple on your earnings estimates in 5 or 10 years. And by doing that, that will help you stomach the volatility of a stock. It'll help you understand that you know the destination, but you don't know what the path is, and you don't really care. And it will help you to hold on to stocks that people think are expensive on this year's earnings. Years ago, I owned LinkedIn, ticker LNKD, before Microsoft bought it in the summer 2016, I think it was. Years ago, I owned LinkedIn, and people said, Chris, you're crazy to own LinkedIn. It's trading at 100 times earnings. Same thing with Amazon. And I said, no, they're trading at like 3 or 4 times my 5-year earnings estimate. And so you got to think really long term when you're building out your financial model. And I teach a bunch of other steps as well in my courses and online stuff. Yeah. Cool. And if you guys have follow-ups, please let me know. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I guess my follow-up is when you look into management, what are your favorite ways to, analyze the quality of management in a company?
Yeah.
Like, do you just go to their bio, to their experience? Do you look at inside trading, volumes? What do you like to look at?
Yeah, I look at all of those. So what I learned from working, in the public markets at hedge funds as well as in the venture capital industry is that I learned in the venture capital industry that past performance is indicative of future performance. And I know with publicly traded companies, people say, no, you can never do that. There's all these disclosures. But if you invest in a management team that has been successful in the past, then it is indicative of future success. At least the probability of success goes up. Of course, there's always risk. And so what I love to do is I love to invest in management teams when I invest in venture capital and publicly traded companies that have been successful before, right? And I also look at management teams, especially the CEO. And when I watch them present online, I think to myself, if I'm a customer of their product or service, do they make me excited about their product? Can they sell? I always think of myself as a customer. Great salespeople, can sell something virtual. It seems boring and make it sound exciting, like Mark Benioff. So Mark Benioff, the CEO founder of Salesforce.com, he sells the most boring product ever you can't see, feel, or touch called cloud computing. But he makes it so exciting. He can sell. He could sell. So I look for that closely. Yeah. I also go to glassdoor.com and I'll do a search on the management team as well to see if the feedback from employees is positive. It's all confidential feedback, positive or negative, and you can quantify it there as well. 98% approval, that sort of thing on glassdoor.com. I'll go to LinkedIn as well, and I'll see if I have friends that are connected. And usually I have tons of connections on LinkedIn. I'll call my buddies who know these people. I'll also read the recommendations people have for themselves on LinkedIn. This stuff really matters. And a lot of people that are able to raise a lot of money or do really well and make CEO, they got there because they asked people to recommend them over the years. And if you're working with somebody in a company right now, it goes to anybody in this call, and this person is getting promoted faster than you are, go to their LinkedIn profile to see how they market themselves. I bet they've got a ton of recommendations written about them from other people. Let me show you an example. Let's go there together. Yeah. So give me one second here. All right. So I'm going to go and I'm going to share this screen here. Okay, great. So I'm going to go to LinkedIn and we're going to do a very quick case study. Okay. On let's go to Mohit Aaron. Okay. So Mohit Aaron was the founder of Cohesity, which is a company where Sequoia led the Series A. And when I worked in venture capital, my firm led the Series B. I was on their board for a while before I quit to teach. But when I was doing research on Mohit, he's amazing. He's a great guy. But what I did was I went down to his recommendations. Yeah. And we invested, I think it was 2014? No, 2014, I think we did, or 15, yeah. But he's got 25 recommendations. Okay. And you got to ask for recommendations, by the way. Right. And so he had tons of people write recommendations about him. He came across as very, very credible, obviously. But this helps out a lot. The same thing with the former CEO of Splunk. He's no longer there. A guy named Doug Merritt. Let me see if I can find him here. Is that him? Doug Merritt. He had 86. Yeah, I can't find him here, but he had 86 recommendations written about him in LinkedIn. And you've got to ask, and for anybody out there that's got more than 5 years work experience, I want you to have at least 10 or 15 recommendations written about you in LinkedIn. Because that's how you market yourself. You have to do it that way. Anyway, yeah. And if you guys have follow-up questions about analyzing management team or any other investing questions or anything, just let me know, please. Greg's got his hand up. Greg, was that from before? Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to Rita first.
Yes. Chris, I commend you on Zoom. It comes up much clearer. You come much clearer. Uh-huh. You look more dynamic, more professional. And also there is no interruptions like you have on YouTube. And also you can interact with other members. You can see each other, get to know each other. Yeah. I really recommend you should look at that because I think it's it's a lovely thing to do.
Yeah, no, it's great. We had a lot of positive feedback. I think last week or the week before was the first time I did Zoom like this on the call. Got a lot of positive feedback. So I'm going to do that going forward. What I'll do is I'll answer questions first that people type. And then we'll do, I'll do Zoom. We'll do that in all calls. Yeah. Thank you for the feedback. I appreciate it. Yeah. Cool. Okay. All right. We got about 10 minutes left. Anybody have a question here on Zoom?
Hey, Chris, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please do. Yeah, Greg. Yep.
Option pricing model. Some companies like Damodaran I talked about uses options to value companies. So using Black Scholes to come up with the value of company and compare it to what the product value is to help you decide what you should do. What do you think of those?
Yeah, sure. So the question from Greg was, what do you think about using Black Scholes and different option valuation models, according to Damodaran, who's a professor at NYU? Yeah. So there's three ways to value options. Okay, there's Monte Carlo simulation. All right. There's also Black Scholes, and then there's the binomial evaluation methodology. I like the binomial valuation methodology best. Okay, it's got the most permutations and it's mostly accurate, the most accurate one. The problem with the other ones, especially Black Scholes, is Black Scholes does not account for dividends, so it's not as accurate as the binomial pricing there. Yeah. Cool. Great question. Thank you. Cool. All right. Next question. Poon here is asking. Here on YouTube Live. You guys can type your questions there if you want to as well. Which sector is good for passive income? Yeah. If you're asking about stocks, there's this one theory called the dogs of the Dow. And what that means is the Dow Industrials component. Dow Industrials got 30 stocks in it. And what you do is you just buy the 10 stocks with the highest dividend yields. Which I think is pretty good for passive income. And you can use the dividends for passive incomes, or what you can do is you can actually just reinvest it.
Hi.
Yeah. Oh, hello, who's that? That's Shuvik. How are you?
Yeah, I have some problem with the mic one.
That's okay. I can hear you. We're good. We got Mark as well from Detroit. Mark, how are you?
I am great, Global NBA fan. How are you, Chris?
Great to see you, buddy. And I call Mark Google because he knows everything about everything. I learn a ton every time I talk to him. Yeah.
I'm humbly honored. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Excellent. So
likewise, good to see you too, man. So my thing is I was looking at Fiverr and Upwork and Freelancer, and I'm like, well, hey, they got scientists on there from all over the place, and I was thinking about using them, for the space program or whatever, to do that and make it easier, and I'm just like, I wonder if the same rules apply to hiring them as it does if I just hire as a regular employee versus a contractor, thinking about doing it remotely for all the templates that need to be drawn into the construction of the plant. So that's what I was just thinking about real quick. Like, it crossed my mind, like, hey, I might be able to do this better and don't have to have so many employees and CTOs and stuff like that set up until I can actually get the root of it and then pitch it that way. And then we can hire everybody that we need after I have all the blueprints and stuff.
Oh, I love it. The only thing I would do is get a lawyer if you want to draft up NDAs, if there's something secret you want to hide. But I love outsourcing stuff. Like I hired 2 people yesterday. One to do YouTube thumbnails, another one to do SEO on my website from Fiverr. Wow. Yeah, the guy doing YouTube thumbnails is based in India, and the dude that's doing the SEO on my website is based in Ukraine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
His name is Vlad. He's a great guy. But I outsource a lot over Upwork, and Upwork I find a lot better than Fiverr. Like Fiverr, you can go to if you want a brochure made for you, whatever. But to do more sophisticated stuff, I would definitely go to Upwork instead. Yeah.
Is it better than Freelancer?
Is that a website, freelancing?
Yeah, freelancer.com.
Yeah, I've never gone there. Yeah.
Yeah, they do the same thing. They were like one of the first ones to start it before Upwork and before Fiverr got involved in those things.
See, I told you, everybody, Mark is Google. I always learn from him. Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
Awesome.
All right, we're blessed to be a blessing. So I got the knowledge. I just try to share it with everybody.
Oh, it's great, man. I always love hearing from you. What kind of shirt you got on? You're great at design. What do you got there?
This is old school.
Levi's.
Old school Levi's.
I like it. I was like a Lithuanian dude who, there's people think that he was actually made the most money from the gold rush, but he actually started Levi's after the gold rush. Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
Super smart.
Yeah.
Thanks. Now I learned.
No, he's Latvian, not Lithuanian. Latvian. That's right. Yeah.
Latvian. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. I got to look his biography up and read more about it.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Really awesome.
Yeah.
It's
neat.
The founder of Louis Vuitton, when he first got started, he lost his parents, both of his parents. And you talking about inspiration. He walked over 1,000 miles to learn how to start making luggage.
Interesting.
For Louis Vuitton, and then he made luggage for all of the kings and queens. And after he made all the luggage, that's when he actually started to get popular. For the Louis Vuitton's brand, but he struggled very, very hard.
Interesting.
To walk over 800 miles.
Wow.
throughout, to get to learn how to be a chess maker and to make those type of things for the Louis Vuitton brand. And that's motivation right there. Like, my God, this man walked over close to 1,000 miles to learn how to manufacture and be the best in making trunks for the kings and queens. So check out his biography.
Yeah, I love that. That Lao Tzu once said that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And when it comes to Louis Vuitton, I learned this from my wife. The way to tell if a Louis Vuitton is a fake or not is you look at the LV logo, and if the LV logo is on the seams, goes through the seams, then it's a fake. Yeah. Otherwise, I can't tell the difference. I'll look the same to me. Yeah.
Unless it's one of those New York Chinatown knockoffs.
Yeah, exactly. I learned that. Well, my wife and I, we used to live in New York, and we got every now and then there's dudes that are selling that stuff in the street, and she goes, "I'll show you how it's fake." Yeah, it's kind of neat. Yeah.
Yeah, Tyra Banks said that on her show about those bags and stuff, and they said that there's a serial number that you can trace on those bags as well.
Interesting.
I think it's on the inside, and if you run a number on the bag, it'll let you know if it's real or not.
Oh, cool. I had no idea. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, definitely.
There's got to be a used market for that stuff too, and I'm sure it's like the VIN number on a car. People look that up. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, exactly. It's really, or what they would call your stock keeping unit number, your SKU.
Yeah.
SKU for keeping the stock keeping unit number. Or I'm pretty sure they got something in the EDI, electronic database number, to check it out.
Yeah.
Because with anything that you sell, you have to have an EDI. So it'll register all around the world in the retailer systems when the item moves.
Interesting. I had no idea. Interesting.
Yeah.
See, Google.
Well, I did that. I learned in retail. So,
dude, I'm telling you, you're Google and I'm Bing. Like, nobody uses Bing to search. Yeah, there's Goog. I've got Goog right there. Yeah.
Yes.
Right on, brother. I'm humbly honored. So I'll let everybody else go ahead and chit chat and talk, and I'll hush up real quick so everybody else can say something.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Thanks, brother.
It's great to see it. Great to see. I got a question here about copying and pasting not working in a course. Please, whoever that is, just please ask within the course, and one of my staff will get back to you immediately. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Next question. Somebody wrote here, what city will be the next Wall Street? Miami ? Either that or Austin. Yeah. I think you're right with Miami. Like Citadel, big hedge fund I used to work at, based in Chicago, headquarters. Ken Griffin, the founder, just moved the whole company to Miami because there's no taxes. God bless low taxes, right? But one data point doesn't make a trend. I'd like to see a couple more first. But my gut would probably be, Miami. I think you're right. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, and I love seeing these companies vote with their feet as well. Especially the ones here in California that are moving to Texas. It's just the taxes are way too high here on the left coast. Yeah.
First time I visited Miami was in 1969, Chris.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah, Puerto Veracruz and Florida, Miami.
Nice.
Miami Beach, really nice.
I love it, man. I love it.
That's really interesting that Ken Griffin's moving there to Miami. I seen that for taxes, but do you know how Miami, most of the economy got started in the hotels the way it is now?
No, how?
Mr. Google, they had another plane turned into a disco in a park in Miami. Is it still there?
I'm not sure.
Huh.
I'm not sure if it's still there, but I know a lot of the money that was funded.
24/7 on a plane turned to a nightclub.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they funded it in a whole other way. Miami was almost just like a retirement town in the 80s and 70s, thanks to a couple guys. You should watch a documentary with Griselda Blanco.
Yeah.
It's the Cowboys. I'll tell you about it like that. Just check it out and see.
Yeah.
Miami, all the buildings and everything was funded. Ryan knows what I'm talking about. It was funded a whole other way. Let's just say the police and the CIA and the FBI took the money and then used it to be investing back into the community in Miami.
Oh, interesting.
From the Cuban cartel.
Yeah.
Miami wasn't anything like that until the Cubans and the Colombian cartels got, took by the police and the FBI. So
yeah,
it's just a retirement town.
What movie is this from? Say hello, my little friend.
You know it.
Yeah.
It's so funny that Tony Montana's character is based on the Tiger King's character.
Oh, no kidding.
You seen the Netflix movie, The Tiger King? There's a guy on there from Netflix that actually had the Tigers out in Miami He was moving all of those things in Miami, and that's who they based the movie on with Al Pacino. They based it on him.
Oh, I love it.
Just watch Tiger King season 1, and you'll see the guy up there who they based the movie on.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I learned all about Miami in terms of the streets by playing Vice City, GTA, which is a classic, man. Classic game. Classic game. I love it. I love it. Listen, guys, I gotta wrap this up. If you're in my Silver MBA program, you can just go to the first lecture to join the Zoom call we'll do right now. For the rest, everybody else out there, God bless you. Have a great week. Please like and subscribe if this is helpful. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. And what I'm going to do, as I do with all of my weekly webcasts, I'm going to end it with a video that I licensed from the Silicon Valley Historical Association. It's a short video to change your life from an interview with Steve Jobs. So God bless y'all, and thank you, and take care.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
When you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way it is, and your life is just to live your life inside the world, try not to bash into the walls too much, try to have a nice family life, have fun, save a little money. But life, that's a very limited life. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it. You can build your own things that other people can use. And the minute that you understand that you can poke life and actually something will, if you push in, something will pop out the other side, that you can change it, you can mold it. That's maybe the most important thing, is to shake off this erroneous notion that life is there and you're just going to live in it, versus embrace it, change it, improve it, make your mark upon it. I think that's very important. And however you learn that, once you learn it, you'll want to change life and make it better, because it's kind of messed up in a lot of ways. Once you learn that, you'll never be the same again.